In the headline, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez will ask the EU to suspend its trade agreement with Israel. Sánchez cited human rights violations and unlawful military operations as grounds to terminate the partnership. The IMF warned the European Union could slide into recession if the Middle East energy shock persists. Officials noted that industrial energy prices have already doubled, threatening to stall global growth. The U.S. Navy has seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship after firing on its engine room in the Gulf of Oman. The incident marks the first major interception under the Washington-imposed maritime blockade. Bulgarians headed to the polls for the 8th time in 5 years to break a chronic political deadlock. Early exit polls show Rumen Radev's Progressive Bulgaria Party holding a commanding lead. Over 9,000 people are homeless after a massive fire swept through a coastal settlement in Sabah. The pre-dawn inferno destroyed approximately 1,000 stilt houses in the Sandakan district. Hundreds gathered in Tokyo to protest rising military spending under Prime Sanai Takaichi. Demonstrators are voicing opposition to proposed constitutional changes and Japan's accelerating alignment with NATO. And in New York, a restaurant owner is earning praise for transforming his business into a cold weather shelter. The businessman is providing free meals and warmth to the homeless amid plunging temperatures. I'm Andrea Santos. Newsline World starts now. Tensions in the Middle East have reached a fever pitch after the U.S. Navy disabled and seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship, marking the first major interception since the start of the Washington-imposed maritime blockade. This report from Jane Cunita.
On Sunday, the Arleigh-Burke-class destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the MV Tuska in the North Arabian Sea as it headed towards Bandar Abbas. According to Central Command, the vessel ignored repeated warnings over a 6-hour period to halt. Footage released by the U.S. Navy shows Marines issuing a final command to vacate the engine room before the Spruance fired its 5-inch gun, disabling the 900-foot container ship. President Trump confirmed that U.S. Marines have gained full custody of the vessel, which was already under U.S. Treasury sanctions for alleged illegal activity. The seizure comes just as Iran has once again closed the Strait of Hormuz, reversing its brief attempt to reopen the waterway after the U.S. refused to lift its blockade. The seizure has thrown the fragile ceasefire into absolute chaos. Tehran's official news agency, IRNA, initially labeled the move piracy and suggested Iran might boycott the second round of peace talks in Islamabad. Despite the friction, a high-level U.S. delegation led by Vice President J.D. Vance, Jared Kushner, and Steve Witkoff is scheduled to arrive in Pakistan on Monday evening. President Trump has framed these negotiations as a final opportunity for Iran, warning of death, fire and fury, and the destruction of Iranian infrastructure as a deal is not reached. While U.S. representatives prepare for talks, the military remains on high alert, with officials stating that forces are ready for any scenario should diplomacy fail once again. This has been Jane Cunita, Global Citizen Correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Meanwhile, Bulgarians are heading to the polls for the 8th time in just 5 years in yet another attempt to break a cycle of political deadlock that has left this country without a stable government since 2021. Early exit polls show a commanding lead for Rumen Radev's Progressive Bulgaria Party. Our political fatigue runs deep in Bulgaria, but voters returned to the ballot box Sunday, hoping this election will finally deliver what the previous 7 could not: a functioning, stable government. The election was triggered after the previous administration attempted to push through a controversial budget last December, sparking mass street protests that President Radev, now leading Progressive Bulgaria, publicly backed. Exit polls released Sunday evening put progressive Bulgaria on 37%, more than double the score of its closest rival, former Prime Minister Boyko Borisov's center-right Gerb party, at 16%. 3 of 4 other parties are projected to clear the 4% threshold needed to enter parliament. Radev, 62, is a pragmatic figure who has drawn both support and controversy in equal measure, criticizing EU sanctions on Russia and calling for constructive dialogue with the Kremlin, positions that have made him a polarizing presence within the broader European political landscape. The deeper story behind Bulgaria's political paralysis is one of systemic dysfunction, allegations of widespread corruption, a judiciary widely described as captured, and public trust in institution that has collapsed over years of broken promises. Turnout at the last election in 2024 was just 39%, a figure that speaks volume about how disengaged much of the electorate has become after nearly half a decade of inconclusive votes. Hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Tokyo to protest against proposed constitutional changes and rising military spending under Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi. In Japan, protesters voiced concerns over efforts to revise Article 9 of their constitution, which renounces war and prohibits the country from maintaining military forces. Prince Tripoli reports.
In Japan, protesters voiced concerns over efforts to revise Article 9 of their constitution, which renounces war and prohibits the country from maintaining military forces.
憲法を変えて戦争できる国づくりを進めているというように危惧しています。心配しています。それを止めるために少しでも多くの人が集まった方がいいと思ってきました。
Many accuse the government of aligning too closely with the United States and increasing defense spending at the expense of Japan's long-standing pacifist principles.
高市が、アメリカの言いなりにイランの戦争にも反対せずに言いなりになってどんどん軍事費を上げて、非核三原則やら、憲法をとにかく大急ぎで変えようとしていることにとっても危機感を抱いています。
Demonstrators also criticized the administration for a lack of transparency in public communication on key policy decisions.
日本憲法9条っていうのがあって戦争を放棄して武力は持たないっていう国なんですよ。80年前にね第二次世界大戦で負けてねそれから世界の平和に貢献しようっていうんで軍隊も本来持たないんですよ。あれ軍隊じゃないんですよ。実質的にはね軍隊みたいになってますけどそれをね日本が再度ねその復活するっていうんですかね軍事国にねだ予算を9兆円もやってるわけね今まで考えない 1% だったんですよ予算が今 3% でしょそれを 5% にしたらね30兆円になるわけですよ
説明をせずに SNS に投稿してそれで済ませてしまう、首相なのに国民に向けて説明をしないし責任を果たしていないんですね。なのにディープパープルさんとかディープパープルとお写真を撮ったりもちろんそれも大事なことだとは思うんですけどそういうメディアに出ないくせに楽しいものには出ていて彼女は何の仕事をしてるのかなっていうのが一番気になっていて
Placards reading "No War" and "Don't Change Article 9" were seen across the rally as crowds called for the government to uphold peace and human rights. The protest highlights growing public concern in Japan over defense policy shifts as debate intensifies over the country's future security direction. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, SMN News.
Over 9,000 people have been left homeless after devastating pre-dawn inferno swept through a coastal settlement in Sabah, Malaysia, destroying approximately 1,000 stilt houses. Kai Valan has the story.
The coastal district of Sandakan, Sabah was transformed into a disaster zone early Sunday morning after a massive fire tore through Kampung Bahagya. This drone footage captured the thick black smoke billowing over the tightly packed water village, where wooden houses built on stilts were consumed by flames in minutes. The blaze, which began around 1:30 a.m. on Sunday, spread with terrifying speed across the 10-acre settlement. Firefighters faced an uphill battle as narrow access roads clogged by parked vehicles prevented engines from reaching the heart of the fire. Low tide conditions also cut off access to seawater, leaving emergency crews struggling for a water source, while strong winds fueled the inferno.
Ada beberapa cabaran-cabaran yang kita hadapilah, terutamanya daripada segi akses kita untuk sampai ke lokasi kejadian, yang mana kawasan laluan untuk masuk ke sini memang agak sempit sebab banyak kenderaan-kenderaan yang diparking di jalan yang menyukarkan jentera kita untuk sampai ke lokasi kejadian. Selain daripada itu juga, antara cabaran kita ialah binaan rumah yang terlalu rapat. Binaan rumah yang terlalu rapat menyebabkan kebakaran terlalu cepat merebak.
Despite the scale of the destruction, local police confirmed that no fatalities have been reported. Most residents fled barefoot, saving only what they could carry. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim expressed his shock at the incident and confirmed that federal and Sabah state authorities are now coordinating emergency aid and temporary housing at centers like Dewan PPR Batu Sapi. As investigations into the cause of the fire begin, the focus remains on the survival of one of Borneo's poorest communities, now facing the monumental task of rebuilding their lives
from the ashes. Reporting for Newsline World, Cargulan as Seminay News.
Up next, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez will ask the EU to suspend its trade agreement with Israel. Sánchez cited human rights violations and unlawful military operations as grounds to terminate the partnership. And the IMF warned the European Union could slide into recession if the Middle East energy shock persists. Officials noted that industrial energy prices have already doubled, threatening to stall global growth. More news when Newsline World returns.
Madalas ka bang napapasobra sa pag-scroll sa phone mo kahit puro masasamang balita ang nakikita mo? Isipin mo ito. Nakahiga ka na sa kama, nagche-check lang ng phone bago matulog. Tapos, hindi mo na malayan, ilang oras ka na palang nagbabasa at nanonood ng mga balita tungkol sa digmaan, sakuna, politika at lahat ng masasamang nangyayari sa mundo. Nakakaramdam ka na ng kaba at pagod. Pero tuloy mo pa rin ang scroll mo. Ang tawag dyan ay doom scrolling. Ito ang habit ng paulit-ulit na pagtingin sa mga negatibo o nakaka-depress na content tulad ng digmaan.
Hemisphere. This has been Joy Tabanaw, your global citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Meanwhile, acting President Delcy Rodriguez announced on Sunday that Venezuela has opened direct negotiations with multinational giant Siemens and General Electric to repair the country's crippled power grid, particularly in the hard-hit state of Zulia. More on this from Virgil Parba.
The Venezuelan government is pivoting toward Western technology to resolve a decade-long energy crisis. Speaking at an event in Zulia, acting President Delcy Rodriguez confirmed that diplomatic channels with the Trump administration had paved the way for direct contacts with Siemens and General Electric. The goal is to rebuild a power infrastructure ravaged by structural decay and recent blackouts. Rodriguez framed the move as a victory for diplomacy, thanking President Trump and the U.S. State Department for the dialogue that made this technical contact possible.
Gracias a ese diálogo diplomático, puedo decir que ya nosotros estamos en relación directa con Siemens y con General Electric para resolver el problema eléctrico en el estado Zulia. El país que tenemos que dejarle a nuestras generaciones futuras no puede ser un país de odio. pero tampoco puede ser un país sancionado, donde sus derechos económicos estén restringidos.
However, Rodriguez emphasized the technical talks are not enough. She reiterated an urgent demand for the total lifting of U.S. sanctions, which she claims prevent the country from accessing $5 billion currently held at the International Monetary Fund. The acting president stressed that these funds are vital not only for the electrical grid, but for hospitals, water services, and the strategic production of oil and gas. While international technical missions have already begun assessing the Venezuelan system, experts warned that full recovery could take years and require billions in fresh investments.
Yo pido el cese de las sanciones contra Venezuela. Todas las sanciones. Y ahorita estamos allí en el Fondo Monetario luchando por los $5.000 millones que son de Venezuela. ¿Y para qué? ¿Y para qué? Para recuperar infraestructura vital, electricidad, agua, hospitales.
As Venezuela's attempt to open a new chapter in its international relations, the focus remains on whether the White House will match the technical cooperation with further sanctions relief to stabilize the nation's collapsing essential services. This has been Virgil Parba, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
When we returned in New York, a restaurant owner is earning praise for transforming his business into a cold weather shelter. The businessman is providing free meals and warmth to the homeless amid plunging temperatures. And in showbiz, Park Bom has issued heartfelt praise for her 21 bandmates following recent controversy. The singer expressed gratitude for Sandara Park and the group's support amid ongoing headlines in the K-pop world. More news after the break.
Isang pindot lang, pwede kang maka-jackpot. Mukhang masaya at easy money lang. Sa murang halaga, pwede ka na tumaya sa online gambling at e-casino apps. Mayroong sabong, slot machines, mahjong, poker at iba pa. Kailangan mo lang ng smartphone, e-wallet at internet. Pero ang aliw na ito, unti-unting nagiging bitag para sa mga Pilipino. Lalo na kung ang paborito mong artista o influencer ang mukha ng app. Mas madaling makaengganyo, diba? Parang safe naman kasi may kilalang mukha. Pero sa likod ng ngiti, sugal pa rin ang itinutulak. At syempre, mas madali ring itago ang pagkalulong sa bisyong ito. Walang pisikal na kasino o pasugalan, walang kaharap, walang accountability, kaya't mas lumalala ang adiksyon. Dagdag pa rito, maraming online gambling apps at walang regulasyon. Sa likod ng mga makukulay na interface at papremyo, nakatago ang problemang bumabalot ngayon sa bansa. Ang pagkalulong ng maraming Pilipino sa online gambling. Pwede maglaro kahit saan, kahit kailan, kahit sino, bata man o matanda, pwedeng malulong. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang pagkakalulong sa online gambling ay nagdudulot ng matinding stress at anxiety, pagkakabaon sa utang, pagkawasak ng pamilya, pagkawala ng tiwala sa sarili. At tulad ng ibang bisyo, may mga senyales ito tulad ng hindi makapagpigil kahit walang pera, palihim na tumataya, pagpapabaya sa trabaho, pamilya o sarili. Sa bawat taya, may mga taong tunay na kumikita, mga malalaking negosyante at investors na negosyo ang bisyo ng masa. Para sa kanila, perang pumapasok lang ito. Pero para sa ordinaryong Pilipino, kabuhayan at relasyon ang nauubos. At ang masakit, tila matagal itong nahayaan. Hindi ito naging prioridad ng mga nakaupo sa taas hanggang sa sobrang lumala at halos naapektuhan na ang buong komunidad. Ngayon, sa dami ng nalulong at sa laki ng pinsalang naidulot, saka palalong umugong ang mga panukalang batas para higpitan ng online gambling, gaya ng pagbabawal sa paggamit ng e-wallets para tumaya, pagtaas ng minimum bet, mas mahigpit na identity verification, pag-block ng mga illegal na gambling sites, at bawasan o ipagbawal ang mga ads na target ang kabataan. Maaari itong magmukhang laro lang, pero sa katotohanan, isa itong sugal sa kinabukasan. Ang kita na dapat sa mga pangunahing pangangailangan o ipon na uubos sa sugal. At sa mundo ng online gambling, mas madali kang matalo kaysa manalo. Huwag hayaang sugal ang magdikta sa iyong buhay. paalala mula sa SMNI.
Every day begins with a choice: to stay down or to rise and chase the dream. For athletes, success is not built overnight. It is shaped in silence long before the crowd arrives.
When you become an athlete in any sport events like boxing, any kind of gymnastics or any kind of triathlon, ganon. You are a runner, you are a marathoner, you are a boxer, you are an Olympic athlete. There's a lot of restrictions compared to a regular person who is not involved in any kind of sports.
Restrictions are not punishment. They are preparation.
For the athlete, it's nothing. It's their lifestyle. For the regular jando outside looking at you, parang naawa sila eh. Yung pagkain mo, puro healthy. It needs a lot of discipline for an athlete in a competition.
The same is true in the spiritual life. The way is not wide. It is not easy. It is narrow.
So, Jesus Christ also mentioned that in a very vivid statement when he said, the way to life is very narrow and very strict and very small.
89 kilograms, please.
What the world calls restriction, the faithful call obedience.
For us, there is no restrictions. That is so restricted enough that we cannot do it. And when it becomes our lifestyle, it's nothing. It's regular for us. Regular for us to be clean-minded, regular for us to be orderly, regular for us to be straightforward. Obedience, commitment, loyalty, dedication, repented in the sight of the Father.
Because this life is a race.
Are we in this life in a competition? Yes, very much. Because Paul said that also. They that run in a race run all, but one receives the prize.
Not everyone who runs wins. Only those who endure.
In order for you to be in a race, you have to be disciplined. So the kingdom nation's citizenship is a disciplined citizenship.
Run the race. Choose the narrow way. Live the disciplined life. Because the prize is eternal.
Sa panahon ng ingay, sa panahon ng maraming tanong, panahon na para marinig ang katotohanan.
Sa totoo lang, ano ba talaga ang nangyayari sa ating bansa?
At sa totoo lang, handa ba tayong harapin ang katotohanan?
Sa totoo lang,
dito walang iwasan,
walang paligoy-ligoy,
diretsong usapan.
Sa totoo lang.
Sa SMNI.
restaurant owner in New York is making a profound impact by offering his restaurant as a shelter for the homeless during cold weather and providing free meals to those in need. His efforts have earned praise from the community and beyond as he combines business with a powerful commitment to social good. Stella Maris tells us the story.
In the bustling streets of New York City, where the contrast between luxury and hardship is ever present, one restaurant stands out for its commitment to those often overlooked by society. Alibaba Mediterranean Cuisine, owned by Ali Riza Dogan, is not just a place to enjoy delicious Mediterranean dishes, but a sanctuary for the homeless in the city. Dogan, who opened the restaurant several years ago, has gained widespread recognition for opening his doors to homeless individuals, especially during the harsh winter months. When temperatures drop, Alibaba transforms into a warm, safe space where people without homes can sleep for the night. In addition to offering shelter for almost 6 years, Dogan has run a weekly meal program every Wednesday, where he serves hot, nutritious food to anyone who walks through his door, no questions asked. Legal community members have rallied behind Dogan's efforts, with many praising him for turning his business into a beacon of hope. Dogan has a deeply personal connection to his mission of helping the homeless. Arriving in the city with his father, both without a home or job, Dogan worked as a dishwasher to survive until he opened his first restaurant in 1997 alongside his father. Having experienced homelessness firsthand, he has never forgotten the struggles he faced. Today, he gives back by offering shelter and meals to those in need, transforming his restaurant into a haven during the cold months. Dogan's story of resilience drives his commitment to provide others with the support and compassion he once received. While some businesses may shy away from helping those on the margins of society, Alibaba Mediterranean Cuisine has made it its mission to be a lifeline for those who need it most, even in the heart of a city known for its fast-paced lifestyle. This has been Stella Maris, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Humanoid robots have taken a major step forward, competing alongside humans in a half marathon held in Beijing. Daniela Paulite has the story.
The 2026 Beijing E-Town Humanoid Robot Half Marathon saw more than 100 teams participate, with robots completing the standard 21-kilometer race. The event marks a significant milestone in robotics development, showcasing advancements in mobility, endurance, and real-world performance. Developers say the competition provides a testing ground for improving robot stability and adaptability in dynamic environments. Experts believe such innovations could pave the way for wider use of humanoid robots in industries ranging from logistics to public services. Reporting for Newsline World, Daniela Paulite, Azumanay News.
Park Bom has expressed heartfelt praise for her fellow 21 members, including Sandara Park, following a recent controversy. Meanwhile, Mike Myers made a rare public appearance to support Eddie Murphy at the AFI Life Achievement Awards in Los Angeles. Here's the latest showbuzz.
Earlier this year, ex-21 member Park Bom drew attention after posting and later deleting a letter alleging she had been used to cover up a drug-related case involving Sandara Park. Sandara Park swiftly denied the claims, while the issue sparked widespread discussion among fans and online communities. Despite the past tension, Bom has since spoken positively about her groupmates, highlighting their bond and shared history in the industry. The development has drawn mixed reactions from fans as many continue to follow the evolving dynamic within the iconic K-pop group. Eddie Murphy was honored for his decades-long contribution to film and comedy, with fellow stars gathering to celebrate his career. Mike Myers drew attention by arriving dressed as his iconic animated character Shrek, complete with green face paint and signature ogre ears. The appearance marked a rare outing for the actor and delighted fans, highlighting the long-standing friendship between the two comedians. The event brought together some of the Hollywood's biggest names, celebrating Murphy's legacy and influence in the entertainment industry. This has been Stella Maris, your citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest showbuzz.
In sports, Emma Raducanu has pulled out of the Madrid Open, extending her absence from competition as she continues lingering post-viral symptoms and rebuild their fitness ahead of the clay season. Meanwhile, Matt Fitzpatrick delivered under pressure, burdening a playoff hole to defeat Scottie Scheffler and win the RBC Heritage. Carlo De La Peña reports.
Still dealing with post-viral symptoms, Raducanu opted to skip the Madrid Open to focus on regaining full fitness ahead of the clay season. The British number one has not competed since her third-round exit at Indian Wells in March, where she struggled physically in a straight-set loss. She also previously withdrew from tournaments in Miami and Linz, as well as Great Britain's Billie Jean King Cup qualifier, prioritizing her recovery after falling ill earlier this year. Raducanu is now back in training and is targeting a return at the Italian Open in Rome in May. She joins a growing list of high-profile withdrawals from Madrid, including Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. Meanwhile, Fitzpatrick bounced back from a costly bogey on the 18th in regulation, where a par would have secured the title to force a playoff with world number one Scheffler. Both players had matched each other late in the final round, with Scheffler carding a 4-under 67 to erase a 3-shot deficit and tie at the top. But in the playoff, Fitzpatrick delivered a superb approach shot and calmly sank a birdie putt to seal the victory. The win marks his second PGA Tour title in a month, following his triumph at the Valspar Championship, and continues a strong run that also includes a runner-up finish at the Players' Championship. Scheffler, meanwhile, settled for a second straight runner-up finish after his near miss at the Masters. Si-Woo Kim finished third at 16 under, 2 shots off the lead. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo De La Peña, bringing you the latest sports news.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Endurance is forged in the fires of adversity. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines. I'm Andrea Santos. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.